Welcome to a special episode of Develop Your Edge, where in today's show you'll hear some of my favorite moments from previous guests such as Linda Raschke, Mike Bellafiore, Tom Canfield, and Matt PAX Kenah. What is Linda Raschke's edge in your trading?
Oh boy, I've done so much statistical modeling and all. I'm always trying to model, like, where is the momentum, what's going to precede the momentum, how's that swing going to come to an end. So a lot of modeling, and that's what gives you your initial idea. And then I have to say that probably from all my years on the floor in the 80s, I'm really good at tape reading. I'm really good. That's how I can also watch 20 markets at once, because we had to stand on the floor. We didn't have charts, and you're just watching a quote board with 100 different quotes of all the option series, which is how I got my start. So it's just a different way of processing data. And then I think that really my edge is, number one, I have the mathematical edge in my favor, okay, the probabilities in my favor from our modeling, but I also have a really good concentration and focus level. So I think that's a real edge. I don't have TV, I don't get distracted by too many things. And I think for most traders, if they want to improve their trading, just think about eliminating all these outside distractions, and don't, open your email in the morning session and follow people on Twitter and do all that kind of stuff. It's going to take you out of your game. That's really it.
So Mike, it sounds to me as though you're not relying on one statistical edge from an indicator or a strategy. It's an entire process. It's the macro theme, it's the story combined with the price action. And that is how your traders are developing their edge.
Very much so. So they want to find those setups that meet their niche, that they most comfortable with, they trade best, that their stats are measuring that they trade best. And then we're very much price observation traders. We're looking for those trades that hit you right between the eyes. Those trades where you're sitting at your desk and the screens are screaming at you, buy, buy, buy. It's time to act. It's time to pounce. And that's when our guys trade at their best, is when they're sitting at their seats and they get an idea, hey, this stock is getting ready to set up to buy. I see a setup I really like. Now I'm drilling into the price action. Looks like there's a pretty strong buyer on the tape. And then there's a signal from the price action that just clicks. I'm not going to get into necessarily tape reading and what those signals are right here, but if you're an experienced trader and you know this, when you watch screens, there's that time when it's time to buy based on price action. And so they've developed that thesis. They've seen that setup that fits their niche and is in their playbook. And then they've seen the price action hit, and then they're super aggressive. They trade with super size. And then, guess what? If the trade doesn't start working for them quickly, they're going to make a trade decision, either to cut completely or to cut a little bit. But based, at least the way that the type of trading that our guys do, it is not about predicting where Tesla is going to go. It's not about predicting whether or not Apple is going to drop precipitously because there's a trade war between the US and China. It's about, hey, if there is a trade war, maybe we're going to have some weakness in Apple. Oh, there's that setup that I like. Oh, there's the price action that confirms that my thesis was correct. Now I'm going to be super aggressive.
Katie, what is your edge?
Good question. When you told me a couple of days ago that you wanted me to do this, my first reaction to you was, that's an awful long discussion, Tony. I don't know if we can get it in 5 minutes, but here's the way I look at edge, because I think sometimes it can get overblown and over-focused on, and people assume that edge is specifically your strategy, your method, your process, whatever you want to call it, the actual specific way that you trade your entries, your exits, etc. And I've seen on Twitter a few times, different guys who've said, if you can't explain your edge in 2 sentences, then you don't have one. And I just think that's such a load of crap. And it does a disservice to what developing your edge actually means. So for brevity, there's 3 ways where you can try and gain edge, in my opinion. You've got your method, your strategy, your process. Mine is I buy breakout stocks. I buy leading stocks in leading industries when the market's in a good mood, when the volume is right. I buy those breakouts. And then I trade those breakout stocks on pullbacks to support and whatnot. So that's my process. It's very common. There's nothing unique about it at all. It's bred in that whole Can Slim, William O'Neill methodology. Thousands of traders trade like this. Some make money, some don't make money. So why is that? Because it's a clearly proven strategy. That I know. So there's 2 other areas where edge, I think, comes into play. First is something I'll call application, which is how you actually apply this methodology that you have. And then the last part is the mental, emotional, the psychology stuff, which, quite frankly, I think is far and away the most important. But so for my style, there are environments when it's really good and it pays you well. And then there are environments, like now, for example, where it's not quite as beneficial to get too aggressive. And so over time, you start to learn what those environments are. What are the cues? What are the signposts that suggest that you're into a healthy environment versus maybe a choppier environment or environment that's not going to favor your process or your edge? That in and of itself, that ability to determine the environment, to know how aggressive you want to be, whether you're pedal to the metal or you're being really careful, that in and of itself is an edge.
Since you said that your edge is you, I'm assuming a vast majority of you, of what you would consider your edge is mental edge. But what percentage, talk to us about, is statistical versus mental?
Oh, look, we all need to have a real good method of trading. I need to know that my method of trading is going to work. I need to know that the statistics back it up. But frankly, I know that 95% of traders, I forget what the real number is, but most traders would lose money if they had the high and the low of the quarter. They would still lose money. I remember hearing that a long, long time ago, and you and I have discussed this many times. I've had this conversation with a lot of other traders. So ultimately, having the high and the low of a quarter in the S&P, my gosh, remember the old adage on the floor, a peek in the deck is worth 1,000 charts. Yet having that knowledge, most traders would still lose money. So still, even with my statistics being leaning way more in favor of a profitable trading outcome at the end of the day, and especially at the end of the week, unless my life is balanced and my plan is also balanced, then my trading won't be. My trading will not be profitable. So I'm going to still go back to. I think that I really do believe that the majority of my profitability depends on my being consistent, which depends again on me recognizing and realizing that I need to stay within my lane, and I need a set of guidelines and rules that are going to help me stay there.
Remember, traders, micro treasury yield futures are now live at CME Group. Make sure you put these symbols up on your charts to know what's happening in yields. 2YY, 5YY, 10Y, and 30Y. And to learn more, go to activetrader.cmegroup.com. Traders, if you're enjoying the show, give me the thumbs up. If you're not, give me the thumbs down. Either way, I want to hear your comments down below. Don't miss an episode of Develop Your Edge. Click that subscribe button. And you can also DM me your comments and questions on Twitter at Anthony Crudele. Don't forget to check out Instagram, Anthony C. Crudele. That's a wrap for today. See you next week.